Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we explore the journeys of visionary entrepreneurs and uncover the strategies fueling their company's growth. I'm your host, Jay Encarnacion, and in each episode, we dive into the stories behind transformative businesses, the challenges they've overcome, and their plans for the future. Today, we are excited to have Tony Sanders, the CEO and owner of Gawlo. Tony brings a wealth of experience in training, sales, and entrepreneurship with a passion for helping people love their work through innovative learning solutions. Based in Indianapolis, Gawlo, founded in 2020, is empowering organizations to grow by developing their leaders and employees. We'll be exploring Tony's founding story, how Gawlo is revolutionizing professional training, and his vision for scaling this impactful venture. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. Tony, welcome to Founders Future.
Thanks, Jay. That was a great intro. Really, really
Well,
great.
a phenomenal background, man. So I'm truly an honor to have you on the show today, Tony. So if we could start at the beginning for our listeners,
Sure.
what specific problem in the training and development space really inspired you to launch Gawlo?
That's a great question. I think that a lot of companies struggle with training and developing leaders, especially growing companies. You find that companies grow really fast and they start promoting leaders from within, but they don't equip them with the right tools in order to lead. So a lot of times they promote them based on their technical expertise. And then they say, well, you're really good at doing this thing. Maybe you can lead other people who do that thing. And then
Mhm.
they find out really quick that is not the case. The
Yeah,
different set of skills. And so I found a lane being able to take those people and say, we can give you the right tools, the right mindsets, the right skill sets to be able to effectively make that leadership transition. And then we found ourselves doing that at every level. So anyone from a supervisor to an executive, we can help develop them as a leader through a couple frameworks that we use.
so amazing. So leadership transition coaching is really the big piece here and the focus. So definitely want to get into the nuts and bolts of that with you because I know a lot of our listeners are in that realm and would want to come and work with you once they hear what you do. So I have a three-part question for you on this front to really give our listeners a lot of insight on what you're doing. So what is the core offer that you're offering here with Gawlo? I know you have some tailored ETO plans, some leadership training programs. How is that structured for your clients and who is the ideal client that you like to work with?
Yeah, so I'll ask the last question first. The ideal client that we like to work with, one of the things that was interesting thinking about it from an entrepreneurial perspective,
Yeah.
you hear that you need to have your avatar, you need to know what industries you serve. Our offers are industry agnostic. We're really looking for a certain set of problems, not a certain demographic necessarily. Usually it's a company within the 500 to a couple thousand employees who are growing really fast, promoting leaders from within, and really need some type of leadership development training. So maybe they either don't have a leadership development team in-house or they do, but they don't have enough to support the entire enterprise. And so sometimes we work with holding companies who have multiple enterprises, and then the L&D team is like six people. You can't support 30,000 employees with six people. We have other clients that are 200 or 100 employees, and they don't have any leadership development presence at all. And especially once they start to bring on venture capital and private equity firms, they're going to want to know that you're developing your people just as fast as you're developing your business. And so we come into those situations, and our core offer are leadership cohorts where we do between 6 to 9 leadership development sessions with a certain group of leaders. And the goal is really to help increase their leadership effectiveness. And so we use the Gallo growth framework as our core to make sure that we're developing people. The Gallo growth framework is something that we developed. If Jay, you and I were to sit down and talk about performance issues with your team, I
Yeah.
could walk you through that framework on the back of a napkin and say, the area that you're really struggling in is probably one of these three key areas. And if
Yep.
we can find a solution to that, we can coach to that, we can develop to that. And so that's the backbone that we build our training programs on.
Incredible. Incredible. So the big piece there for you is going to be those cohorts, bringing people together, providing that coaching, that training for those teams. So just incredible on that front. So with that in mind, I would love to hear a bit of what's working best for you on the acquisition side. Obviously, you guys have been at this for about five
Yeah.
years now, have a lot of experience. What channels have been most effective for you on that front, whether it's the referral side, ads, social media? Talk us through that a bit.
Yeah, really great. I'm one of those people, I think we're close to the same age, grew up on social media. We've been
Yep.
using it at least since our high school years and different things like that. And so in my brain for a long time, if my business didn't exist with a major presence on social media, in my head, it wasn't a real business.
Right.
And so I started doing that. In this business in particular, what I realized is it's really relationship driven.
Yes.
Like you have to know people, and people are going to do business with the people they know can trust. I think that a lot of us know that, but it's really about relationship building. In 5 years, there hasn't been a successful ad or a social media campaign per se. We've done some things, but the most successful thing, the biggest ROI is relationship building, going out to the networking events, shaking hand, meeting people. And so then it became for me like, how do I scale relationship building? Because I can't be at every event. I'm a business owner, but I'm also a husband. I'm also a father. I'm active in my church and my community. I can't be at every event, but what are some ways that I can scale relationship building? And so when I think about customer acquisition, it's really about relationship building and showing up to be of service, showing up like this instead of showing up like this. And that has really resulted in some incredible opportunities for our company. And then your customer acquisition cost is pretty low when it's going out paying for a coffee or paying for a dinner or paying for a ball game. I like that approach. And so that's the tip of the spear. And then I look at social media as like reinforcement and credibility building. There's a number of times where I run into a prospect and they're like, "Oh yeah, I watched your YouTube video on XYZ," and it gives them more credibility or gives them a little sneak peek into what we do. Or we connect at a networking event and then we connect on LinkedIn, and then you start to see content on LinkedIn. So I use that as my reinforcement to keep people engaged and also to build credibility. When people see you doing your thing, they're like, "Oh yeah, he really knows what he's talking about."
I absolutely love that. I think it's such an important factor, especially for our listeners there, Tony, is as you mentioned, just that personalization, being there, providing that quality, especially in person, as you're mentioning. The big question that I have for you here is now that you're 5 years in and really seeing success, what is your mindset on scaling and growth here? I know that you have a very good offer that's productized on that front. Are you looking to have more predictability on the lead gen flow side, maybe work more around the ads, see what works better there, maybe adjust the messaging on that front? How are you approaching scaling and having more predictability on that front?
A good question. This is something that I'm dealing with literally every day. Like
Yes.
before this, I had a meeting with one of my team members. We're talking exactly about this. For me, I have to make the transition from being hustler to entrepreneur. And when you're a hustler, you're doing everything yourself, you're grinding. And I think you have to do that for a second. But then we have to transition from building the brand of Tony to building the brand of Gallo. And there are some people when they come to purchase products or services from us, even though they know there's a team in their brain, they're still buying Tony because I haven't sold them well enough on Gallo yet.
Right.
And even on the delivery side of our business, when we're going to do implementations, have to make sure that the team that's doing the implementation is in alignment with what people come to expect from Tony and what they come to expect from Gallo. And so, what does that brand look like? How do I train my internal people to say, hey, I know you'd prefer to do it this way, but we've already set an expectation through our brand that people want this thing. And so that's where my brain is today when it comes to customer acquisition, but also our implementation. How do we
Right.
make sure that we maintain the brand if I'm not at every training event or putting my hand on every single course or micro learning or coaching call? How do we maintain the brand and the quality and the expectation with removing myself from a time perspective?
So it sounds like that's a bottleneck right now that you guys are working through, having more predictability on that side, putting yourself more in that founder role, not so much inside, internal. Incredible to hear from that. Still seeing the success, but now working through some bottlenecks like that. As far as the sales process as a whole, Tony, I know that you're super integrated into the process.
Sure.
What's that team look like? Do you have a sales team or are you doing all the sales, marketing help? What does that look like with the team around you?
Good question. We do have someone who helps with marketing when it comes to social media, when it comes to some of our messaging and marketing collateral. When it comes to sales, I'm doing that. I grew up in sales. I think the founder is usually the best salesperson. I got that advice once. Not that other people can't sell it, but I think you as the founder, you gotta be good at sales. But my grandmother taught me how to sell when I was a kid.
Love it.
I have gotten good at it, but I've always loved it. And so I'm a part of every sales process and probably will be for the foreseeable future. Still being in my 30s, I think maybe at some point we may bring on additional salespeople, but I still think that I'll be involved in that process.
I love it. I love it. So that's another thing, obviously bringing on maybe a setter or a closer to not take yourself fully out of the process, but maybe open up your calendar a little bit to focus
That's
more
right.
on founder level role. Incredible on
That's
that
right.
there. So obviously the bottlenecks mentioned more predictability on the lead gen side. Is there anything else that you're thinking about as far as a bottleneck, or is that really the main one that you're looking to break through right now?
No, it's really that. And I'm not kidding about implementation. I think that a lot of founders struggle to take their hands off the wheel. And when I say that, like some people take it off way too early, way too fast. Some people don't take it off fast enough. It's a delicate balance when you have clients who depend on you and rely on you, and you're solving real problems for people, and you want them to feel like they're still getting everything that they got, even though they don't get you every day, right? If I called your company and I wanted Jay, and then someone else shows up to the meeting, it's like, oh,
Right.
what's going on here? And so you don't want them to feel like there's a bait and switch. You don't want them to feel like they're not getting the things that they were promised. And so making sure that you build your brand in a way that it sets clear expectations, and then everybody on your team can deliver those expectations, even though they have different skill sets, different mindsets. Like to me, that's where the bottleneck is. How do I remove myself and still deliver excellent work so that we can scale without losing that quality or the brand equity that we built?
100%. I could not agree more. And I think that's some real gold for the listeners as well, Tony, is that's a phenomenal mindset to have, making sure that it is as high quality as possible for your clients so they all have that same experience and continue to come back. Just amazing hearing that from you on that front. So paint us a picture here, right? We have a really good idea of everything you bring to the table, the success that you're seeing, a couple of things that you have to grow through. What's the vision for the rest of the year here, Tony? What are you really laser focused on for that continued growth and scale of Gawlo?
The good news is I think that we have pretty much got a good hold on our implementation.
Yeah,
And so I'm ready to hit the gas on building more relationships and bringing in more clients. We hit a little spot where I was concerned about our level of implementation. And
yeah,
so I had a very good conversation with the team. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to go and I'm going to bring on more deals, but I'm not hitting full speed on the sales marketing pedals right now because the worst thing that I want to do is go out and sell a bunch of deals and then we can't fulfill it on the back end.
right.
And being an entrepreneur, practically my entire life, always being a hustler, running different businesses, I've done that before. I've grown too fast and it just runs your business, you as a person, and your brand into the dirt because you get more clients than what you can really service. And so I wanted to be really strategic with this to say, okay, now that we're growing and we're growing at a pretty good rate, the first 2 quarters of our year is the best sales quarters we've ever had in 5 years. So now that we're doing that, I want to make sure that we can really implement and keep up on our promises and deliver for our clients before we go out and do more and more. So we figured some things out on the acquisition side. Let's make sure implementation is there. I think that we're in a really good spot. So the rest of the year is open for acquisition. We're looking for new clients and new customers to bring on, new businesses to help grow and grow their leaders.
Absolutely incredible on that front. And I think, again, I mean, you're just handing out gold today, Tony. So truly an honor having you on the show because that's another piece, getting the priorities straight first, not focusing so much on stacking the pipeline to where now it's going to put you in a hole and
Yeah,
you and your employees in a hole, getting all the systems in place first, and then saying, okay, now we can go into grow mode, scale mode, build mode,
absolutely.
because we have the systems in place. So just again, incredible hearing that from you and having you share that. So with that being said, I would love to hear from you as far as your vision and the picture that you're seeing of the training and coaching industry as a whole and its evolution in the coming years, especially with your focus on DEI and employee engagement and what you're bringing to the table here with Gawlo. What are you doing to position yourself at the forefront of that evolution?
That's a really good question. I'm going to try to give as succinct of answer as I can.
Yeah,
I think the training industry, in a lot of ways, is doing really well. I also think in a lot of ways we've lost our way.
yeah,
I think that instead of coming along and being business people with our stakeholders, I think a lot of us have been training people waiting for an invite at the table. We have this eight framework that we work through, EIGHT. We borrowed it from my family. I'm the oldest of eight children. And when we get the full eight experience together, it's something magical. And so we work through this eight framework. And the E is for engage, the I is for impact, the G is for grounded in business. And I tell our people, we're leadership consultants first. Our second, we're business people first.
right.
We have to be grounded in business. And I think the training industry loses that. We get caught up in like these Patrick learning levels and smile sheets and all this other stuff. That was cool when we didn't have data to validate the work that we're doing. But we had to make up our own data. Now there's real data. Like we can really see if a manager is becoming more effective by going through this training. We could actually see whether or not the sales team that we just taught this new strategy to that they're implementing We can actually see if it's working or not. We can actually record the phone calls and get the metadata from the words that they're using in succession with each other at the time and see if they're actually implementing. And so I think that training and development people need to get back to business. Yes, we are a support role, but we're here to support the business. And so everything has to center around that. And we're not going to do training anymore just to check the box. We're not going to do training anymore just to say we did it, or oh, it's July, so we got to do our training. Like that has to stop. It has to be there's a problem that we're solving. We're developing a training solution for that problem, and then we're going to monitor the problem to see if it gets worse or better. It's no different than when you go to the doctor. The doctor's like, oh, I have to write scripts. I'm just going to write you a script. It's like, oh, you have this specific problem. We're going to make sure that we write a prescription for that problem, and then we're going to monitor it. And oh, by the way, if it doesn't get better, let me know. Call me. Let me like check in with me in 2 weeks. I think the training industry has to do more of that and get rid of all the things that we made up, frankly, to make ourselves feel better and feel more validation to have a seat at the table.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that. An incredible answer from you on that front there. So I do want to take us into the lightning round here, Tony, before we wrap up the show. So just a couple more questions for you on that front. And the first one's going to be around a tool or a resource, whether it's a training strategy, a leadership insight, an AI tool that you're using. What can you say has been the biggest game changer for Gawlo this far, Tony?
That's really good. There's been a bunch of them. You can see all these books behind me. I like to read a lot. Some of the most valuable information as it relates to building a business I've learned from some of these books behind me. I would recommend How to Grow Your Small Business by Donald Miller. I think that's a phenomenal book. I think no matter what business you're in, you definitely need to learn how to use AI, if for nothing else, as a strategic thinking partner, but
Yeah.
also think about ways that you can weave it in for your customers. We had our first customer, a pretty big company, request, or more so demand. It was less of a request and more of a demand. It's like, hey, in all of your training programs, we need to be teaching something about how AI can make people better leaders. And so that was a great challenge for us. But I would definitely say like leaning into your ability to learn and grow. I'm a firm believer that like your business is only going to grow as much as you do. And so reading books has been big on that, but more of a tactical tool that people can go out and start using today. I think AI is definitely really big in every industry, but definitely training and development.
I love it. I absolutely love that. And then just one more to wrap us up here. That's going to be a piece of advice. What is the best piece of advice that you can offer to our listeners tuning in? Just heard your incredible journey here, Tony. What can you leave them with before we wrap up the show today?
Get tapped into an entrepreneurial community. Yeah, as an entrepreneur, it can be super lonely. You do a lot of things that nobody else understands, or it seems crazy. It's counterintuitive. And I think anxiety and depression rates are higher amongst the group of entrepreneurs than any other group of professions. I think that we need more entrepreneurial communities, more places that you can tap in and not just be a stay-at-home entrepreneur, solopreneur, flying solo, feeling like you're doing it all on your own. Go to a co-working space, go to a networking event, get tapped into someone else. It's also a super hack to growing your business. I've learned so much from sitting next to another entrepreneur who's 20 years ahead of me, having coffee about how to scale my business, how to grow my business or grow my team. So get connected with some other people who are like-minded.
Incredible. Incredible. That right there, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. And just a massive thank you to you, Tony, for coming on the show and sharing your incredible journey and your insights with us. And just clear as day, the passion, the drive, the intelligence that you have. It's been an honor and a pleasure hearing from you. And I know you're going to continue to do some amazing things. So would love to have you back on the show in the future, get some good updates. I know there will be many. But again, thank you so much for joining us today. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And also learn more about Gawlo at growwithgawlo.com and follow Tony on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Tony R. Sanders. And for more resources and insights, you can visit us here at closers.io, where we are dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth. Until then, keep pushing forward, and we will see you on the next one.